like me being me, I'm just like stiff. I don't know my angles when it comes to photo shoots. I only know angles when it comes to posing for a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
Welcome back, one and all. Thank you for listening. If you're new here, this is the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast, and I'm your host, Molly Stewart. We define wholesome a little differently here, and my guests span everywhere from the adult industry to the vanilla side of humanity. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. Word of mouth is what helps this podcast grow. So share with a friend, leave a comment, download an episode, or anything you can to help with the algorithm. I release episodes every Monday, and if you're subscribed, you'll never miss an episode. You don't want to miss out on all the crazy conversations that evolve here. But that's enough from me, and let's get to today's guest.
I actually I like to cut off all the hair of my Barbies and just sometimes take off their arms and legs and see if I could put them onto other Barbies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have problems. Anyway, welcome back to the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast. I'm your host, Molly Stewart. Do you like my intro? And today I have Ariel joining me. We've spoken over the internet, and Laura has been lucky enough to meet her already and do her makeup for her biceps.
That was awesome.
It was very awesome. She said that you were fantastic, and so we had to have you on. And then luckily, I just happened to be in Australia, so it all works out. And we are coming to you from Kre8tive Freedom Studios, who was kind enough to let us shoot here after our photo shoot. But before we talk about the photo shoot, we are in my favorite room, which is full of creepy Barbies on the wall, which you guys have seen photos of me in this room before, and you were like, oh, creepy Barbies. I love it. So, anyway.
I love it too.
But we were talking about you and your thing with Barbies in the beginning, so tell us about how you played with Barbies when you were a child.
So when I was younger, I used to put the female Barbie doll head onto the guy's body because I just thought they looked better with bigger muscles, even though the guy Barbie dolls have literally no muscles. They look like little
really
bitches.
Weak and pathetic.
But I still did it just because they looked bigger.
Yeah, and you wanted to have big muscles, and now you do.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the whole fitness thing? Because the photo shoot that we did today is a little bit different than the shoots that Ariel has typically done and does for her biceps, which is all, as you guys have seen, probably some of mine as well, but not nearly to the extent of her amazing muscles. Just a lot of flexing and basically arm wrestling men, throwing them in pools,
bicep curling guys.
Yes, you were telling me about that. So tell me about your first her bicep shoot and how did you kind of come to do that?
So a lot of my social media base is around, I guess, muscle and beauty. So they reached out to me and wanted to have me on board to, I guess, make some content with, I guess, lifting people and just do some flexing and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I actually really enjoy it just because I'm so used to, I guess, flexing my pecs or my biceps, shoulders, legs, and just training in general. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun just to showcase a mix between muscle and beauty.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And use my strength on little guys.
Little bitch boys. Which is literally, it's so funny because when you do a her bicep shoot, it's literally they're shit talk them now. And I'm like,
okay, here we go. Time to make it juicy.
Yes. So before you got in, how long have you been basically on your fitness journey? I guess as people say, just because, you haven't been shooting for her biceps that long, have you?
No, I kind of do my own shoots. I never really got into photo shoots and stuff like that just because I kind of felt quite self-conscious with being quite a small figure at the time. Even though I was competing, I just kind of felt within myself that I wasn't good enough for myself. I just wanted to be bigger, more muscular. So I took a bit of a turn because I competed for the wellness category. I don't know if you know wellness.
Yeah, I've learned about wellness a little bit from Brandy, who was on the podcast as well. Which you guys
so it's very much that Brazilian, sexy, soft upper body with very big muscular legs.
And you have Chun-Li legs. It's crazy. We were shooting photos and she had these fishnets on. I was like, girl, you can see every little piece of your leg muscles. Is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I have little bitch legs. Look at these little skinny things. Anyway.
I completely forgot what I was saying for a sec.
Oh, so you were getting into, sorry, I sidebar a lot. Wellness modeling.
Oh, yes. And then I just decided, you know what? It feels more me to be bigger, more chunky. And I just really want to embrace a different side of me where it's not just lean, you know, feeling like I had to do a photo shoot with just being lean. And, you know, I just wanted to feel bigger and just stronger, more powerful. And that's why I'm really loving like my muscle building phase, because I actually gained 17 kilos this year. So I was like,
I don't know what that is in pounds because I'm from
I
America.
honestly have no idea in pounds.
All right, I'm going to look it up right now. We need to know. All right. 17. Oop, that's 16. I know what numbers are. Kilograms to pounds. 37.4 pounds. Oh my God.
Yeah, because I was actually quite sick, so I lost a whole bunch of weight. And
Did
then,
COVID get you?
Pardon?
Did COVID get you?
Twice.
Oh, girl, me too. Wait, no, sorry, 3 times. But I don't know, it wasn't that bad for me. How did COVID affect you? Because I've heard so many different things from different people who have had it. Like some people just down for the count thought they would have to go to the hospital. Luckily, nobody that I know did get hospitalized, so that was very, very lucky. But for me, like, man, I was telling everybody I would have rather had COVID than strep throat. Like, that's how little. I was just so tired.
Yeah.
So how did that?
I guess it affected me a little bit differently. So I guess at the start I just felt sick. I was very fatigued. And then it got to the point where I couldn't get out of my bed. And I was like, what's going on, you know? So my partner was like, okay, if you can't get out of bed and you can't just do normal things like have a shower or even just eat, I was struggling to eat. And so he sent me to the hospital and I was there for 10 days and I just lost a whole bunch of weight. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep.
As far as like couldn't eat, was that like, did you lose like the taste and smell? Or,
Yeah,
like,
I lost my taste and smell.
Or was it like you physically couldn't eat as
I
well?
lost my taste and my smell for about 10 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My man, when he got COVID, he as well lost his sense of smell.
Yeah.
And it was the same. He was like, it's kind of one of the best things about food, because even like, especially when you're hungry and you smell something good, like we were discussing on Instagram the other day, grilled. If you guys have never experienced grilled, don't
Grilled
even
is
get me
the
started.
bomb.
And then you're already so hungry, right? And you can kind of like not think about it. You can put it out of your mind. But then as soon as you smell food, you're just like, I want to eat everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's like, it got to the point where I was so put off food, I just did not think about food at all. And then my partner was like, you got to eat. And I'm like, oh.
No,
you know.
fine. I guess
Yeah.
I'll just put something in my mouth.
But my coach, David, he constantly gave me like a meal plan throughout the whole time I was sick. And he was like, you know, this is only temporary. We're going to get you better. He fixed my adrenals. So I had COVID, but I also had streptococcus pneumonia.
Oh, sure.
So that
scary.
completely shut down my body to the point where I like literally had to learn how to walk.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So my partner, it was so cool because like my partner, he was like, I don't know why it's cool, but to me it's kind of like, it was motivating for me because he was like, if you can walk around the block once, you can go back to the gym. And that took me ages, but I was so determined just to walk around the block.
Just setting those small goals to reach the bigger goal, which is just like being alive.
Yeah, literally.
God.
So, you know, once I could start walking, he took me to the gym and I had so much anxiety going to the gym because that's where I caught it. And I did not want to go, but it got to the point where I was like, okay, like if I, you know, want to get stronger, I kind of have to, you know, push myself a little bit. It got to like, I was having dumbbells at home doing bicep curls and whatnot, lifting like 5 kilo little bicep curls. Yeah. Thinking, oh my God, they're going to be so big and strong one day.
Yeah.
And I actually have a video where I promised myself that I'll get to 80 kilos by the end of the year. And I'm so close to 80 kilos and I'm like, I got to get this.
You're getting there. That's amazing. And like how inspiring too, to like feel completely like at your worst, and then also to have a partner who supports you enough and to like stick with you and to help you basically find motivation where you couldn't really find it yourself, especially like being as sick as you were.
The thing
and it's like I feel like also like once you get to that point, it's like if you don't have someone in your corner to kind of like help you achieve whatever goal it is, it's so demotivating because it's like, you know, people always say too, as far as like, well, you just have to like find the motivation. You can't necessarily find motivation. It's all about like dedication. It's like, what are you willing to push
the
past?
people around you as well. The thing with me is like, even just being sick, I already knew that it was temporary. So I wasn't thinking about like how much weight I lost. I wouldn't even look at myself.
Yeah.
You know, I was so ashamed. It was like, I don't want to look at myself. I just wore baggy clothes, put my head down, lifted my 5-kilo dumbbells, and I was set. I was like, okay, this is a good start.
Yeah.
You know?
Everybody has to start somewhere. That's what I always say to people too, because I don't know, ever since, like, and obviously I'm nowhere near you, but obviously there's been huge changes in my body, you know, since I started the fitness journey. But you get people who comment like, oh, you know, I wish I could have arms like you, or I wish I could have legs like you. And it's like, you can.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe not necessarily exactly how I look or how you look, but to whatever your body is capable of doing. But it's up to you to like take that first step, and everybody starts somewhere. It's just that you have to start.
Yeah.
It's like working out isn't hard. It's kind of like, it's annoying. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're just starting out.
It's just getting into that routine, which can be the
is.
hard part, especially when you've got so much going around you, or even just little things going around you.
Yeah,
it's just getting your
making
ass to the
time.
gym.
That's like the annoying part, is making the time. Because it's like, you know, I tell people all the time, like, well, I don't have time to go to the gym. It's like, I don't spend every hour of my day in the gym working out. It's that, you know, everybody, and I've said this before, but like everybody has 30 minutes in their day to sit and watch Netflix at the end of the day. There are small things that you can be doing while you're watching Netflix to basically still be doing something. It's just about doing more today than you would have otherwise done if you didn't do it. You know, it's
And
like,
even just mixing it up to make it more interesting rather than continuously doing the same thing. So sometimes, like with my coach, you know, I'm doing something for quite a little while and it's like, can I, you know, maybe add this in to focus on different areas. But just mixing it up, maybe changing up your nutrition as well can help.
Yeah, changing up nutrition can help a lot. I think, well, for me, definitely like stopping drinking helped a lot. And obviously, and I've said this before, I know that's not for everybody and not everybody has a problem, but you know, for me, that was one of the big things that I had to change. And everybody has something that they can change. And it may not even seem like it's something that's that big. It's not like not everybody's a fucking alcoholic, so not everybody has to stop drinking.
But look how much you've achieved now.
Yeah, and it's like, but when you start setting those small goals, and it's like when maybe you achieve that first small goal, and then it feels so good. You're like, well, what can I achieve next? Because obviously I did this thing that I didn't think I could do already.
Yeah.
And I've done that.
Yeah.
So what's the next thing?
Laura,
Hi.
are you excited?
Yes.
Tell me why you're excited, Laura.
We have all the things coming.
We have all the things coming. Do you want to tell this lovely audience what things we have coming? Because I am very, very titillated.
Well, can I tell you the first thing that's happening? We're
Yes.
going to Bali.
We are going to Bali.
We're going to go to like the tropical nature, beautiful island. I'm so
Beautiful.
excited.
So excited. And we are
Can't
going to
wait.
be shooting 4 episodes there, which will take us all the way through November. Well, I am in Australia, and unfortunately we'll be separated again, but we get to watch each other every week. And I'll make
Separated,
love
but
to
not.
you in my mind.
We're going to use our toys.
And coming up in the new year, January 4 through 7, we will be at the AVN Expo show. We have a booth for the podcast and for me and my merch, so you can come and hang out and meet Laura and I. So
Come.
get excited for that. It's January 4 through 7 at Resorts World in beautiful Las Vegas. So we hope to be able to see you guys there. We are going to be having meet and greets, live interviews. We are going to have merch. All the merch that you guys have been waiting and wanting to see and buy, it's going to be available first at the convention. And then we're figuring out some new things for the new year as well. So stay tuned, and we hope that you guys will join us at the convention.
Get your
AVN
tickets.
Get your tickets. There will be a ticket in all of the descriptions, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're listening on an audio platform. Just check the description for where you can get your tickets. We hope to see you there.
Yeah.
Mwah.
And it's all about like the progression and like the pursuit of basically being the best version of yourself that you can be, whatever that means to you at like a current time, because goals and aspirations change all over the place. Even like you said, you have switched more to like the wellness category, and then like getting bigger and like getting stronger. And so those different goals and goalposts that we set for ourselves can change all the time. It doesn't always have to be one thing.
And I find change super exciting. I mean, you can have a set goal, but then, you know, in a year's time, it could be completely different. Like I was aiming for my pro card in the wellness category, and like, you know, being one step away from pro, it was kind of like a wake up call for me wanting to be, I guess, bigger and better. It kind of woke me up, and it was like, I want to try something different.
And people say like, you know, oh, change is scary, right? And there's a lot of fear, but there's a lot of fear that people have to change. But one thing to remember too, and this is something that I remind myself of as well, is that like fear is basically kind of like anxiety, right? It's like the anticipation of what if, what's going to happen. It's also kind of the same exact feeling as excitement. So it's kind of more like how you look at it. Like, because things that are exciting are also scary. So it's kind of that same emotion and that same kind of feeling that you get inside of yourself. It's just kind of like what you choose to do with that. And yeah, that's really, really cool. So as far as like the actual fitness stuff, like how long did you do like the wellness competing, and when did that kind of start for you? Because obviously, you know, taking apart your Barbies and putting the female heads on the male bodies to make them big and buff, or as buff as Ken can be, like when did that kind of start for you, that you decided that you wanted to kind of make fitness a huge part of your life as it is now?
Well, I've always looked up to big muscular girls. I'm not sure if you know Rachel White, but she's a bodybuilder, a women's physique competitor in Australia. And I've looked up to her even when I was, you know, maybe like 16. And just looking at her and, you know, looking at the other girls in the gym, it was kind of like just seeing them, like just seeing their muscles and their muscle bellies just pop. It was kind of like one day, you know,
like
one day I would love to have that. Just to showcase like a different side of what, you know, like female beauty can be. So I guess just looking up to those women kind of wanted me to like start pushing the weights. And I used to be a runner as well. So I used to do a shit ton of cardio, 10 kilometers every single day. I would not miss a day. And then it got to the point where I saw these girls and I was like, no more.
No more running. I want to lift heavy things.
And then I started competing. I was about 16.
So I started competing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But I was like in a bikini category. So
that's totally different than wellness.
I think it was called like the INBA here in Australia. But I think they're a different federation now within like the same kind of company. But so I used to do just bikini modeling just to kind of give it a shot. I didn't really, you know, have any high expectations for myself. I just wanted to learn the stage, learn, you know, the posing and that kind of thing. And then I started gaining more muscle, and then my body was kind of like an in-betweener. So I was doing bikini and IFBB as well, but the judges advised me to grow more size and move into figure. And there was no wellness category at the time, but then in 2019 they brought out the wellness category, and it was at the same time where my partner was prepping me for a photo shoot that I wanted to do. And it was so I went to a posing workshop, and Nat, this posing teacher, she was like, you should compete. And I was like, nah, I'm good. She was like, honestly, just do it. And so I ended up doing it and taking out the overalls, and then I came second in Australia for the wellness category. So that was in 2019.
Boom! Hell yeah! Look at
so that was really cool, but then it just kind of took a turn. I was like, yeah, I think I need to try something different. Like, I love the wellness category. Such a beautiful category. Like, hats off to those girls for
you. You're living for it. Everything has changed.
So now it's just about, you know, taking the time to build size. I mean, the stage isn't going anywhere, so
you can always come back to it if you want, or different categories and change whatever it is that you feel like you want to be doing.
Exactly. But I'm not letting that stop me from posting photos in like lingerie or even just gym wear, flexing, you know, just trying to embrace that thickness.
It's kind of like that thing too, like you've worked so hard to have the body that you have, and that's what's beautiful to you, and that's like owning your own power. And it's like when you were younger, right? So I think back sometimes to like when I was a kid, right? And I always wanted to be stronger than the boys. I always wanted to be faster than the boys. I remember I would do like push-up competitions like against my like male cousin, and just I was so happy once because I beat him. I did 20 push-ups. He only got to 18. So, but has it been kind of that thing? Because I know like her biceps likes to focus on that a lot. Like, you know, women being stronger than men
love
and stuff
it.
like that.
I love it. I feel so empowered when I, you know, am making content with guys that are smaller than me. Or, you know, guys that are older than me, but they're so small. And I'm like, let me feel your little bust.
Oh, it's so cute and squishy.
So, yeah.
I love when they're just like, shit talk them now. I'm like, okay, let's fucking go.
And even just like, I love like the muscle comparison side of thing as well. So just like having them next to me and just flexing, but it's like, they are so small. I can't put a straight face on.
Yeah.
Because of how cute and just funny they are. Like, they're trying to be all serious, like, oh yeah. Like, and then I'm like, no. just stop.
I sometimes will go through and I'm like, because they're like, shit talk them. And so I'll start talking trash. And then as soon as the camera's off, I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you all right with this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I was like, okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Because like, you're so cute and small. I just want to make sure I'm not actually like scarring you emotionally. Laura, shopping for women is so fun. How much shopping have we done in Bali?
We've been shopping every single day.
So many different kinds of outfits.
Yeah.
Tops, bottoms, shorts. It feels like women's fashion changes all the time. But with guys, it's like, it's always pants, shirt, shorts, maybe. And it all pretty much looks the same, right? And honestly, sometimes when I buy stuff for my man, it just doesn't fit him right, especially if I'm buying online and I don't know what it is until it arrives. You know what I mean?
Sizing too.
No, it's awful. And especially my man, oh, he's so pretty. He's got these big shoulders, but he has this tiny little waist.
Huge.
Oh, he's so massive. So it's hard to find things that fit him well in the shoulders and the waist.
Right. No, I could find that. I could see how that'd be challenging.
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously.
I don't know. Oh, that's another thing. Like, okay, so when you find something that fits you so well, you're just like, oh, I feel good.
Yeah.
And when you feel good, you look good.
Right.
Well, luckily for everybody today, our sponsor of this show is True Classic. Now, maybe you guys have heard of True Classic on other podcasts, but you should only be listening to this podcast, of course. But did you know that at True Classic Tees, they have sizing that goes all the way up for even like the big boys out there. What they told me is they have tall and XXL sizing on all their staple colors. They're more than just a t-shirt company. They have all the menswear staples that your guy could ever need. Polos, workout shirts. Oh, signature flattering fit. You want to be flattered, don't you? If you go out and you wear clothes and you look good, you want some compliments, right?
Yes.
You want compliments? If we want compliments, the men want compliments.
Y'all want to
too.
get noticed.
Y'all want to get noticed. They're more than just a t-shirt company. And I mean, honestly, they also have a pack builder on their website where you can custom bundle all of their essential products and save even more of a discount than we're offering you guys today.
Yes.
We get 25% off at trueclassictees.com with code TWND. Free shipping is also included on purchases over $100.
Score.
So you could just completely upgrade your wardrobe and feel good while doing it.
Save your money.
Save money.
So you can shop more.
Yeah. So let's see. They're completely different. They have a closer fit in the arms and chest to highlight your guy's best assets. Ooh, pecs. Get those pecs popping in True Classic. They have a little wiggle room in the torso to keep things cozy and streamline your look, so not too tight in the waist, but also not too tight in the chest. All of their styles are super soft and affordable. Out with the old ratty t-shirts that you've been hanging on to since varsity volleyball.
Bye.
Did you guys play varsity volleyball? Let us know in the comments. But you've got to get these for the man or for yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is a gift that he will actually love, and believe me, you will too. And to demonstrate how amazing these t-shirts are, we have a model today.
What?
Are you
We
excited?
do?
Yeah.
Who?
He's so hot. Come on in! Let us drool over you. No?
Hello?
Hello?
Is anybody there?
Hello? Oh.
I heard the door. Drum roll.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh. Oh my God. Oh. Come sit over
join.
here. Oh, he's so pretty. What? Look at those How am I ever going to find a shirt to fit those massive pecs and shoulders and that itty bitty waist with a brown face? And no face you get. All right, baby. I'm going to give you this beautifully soft t-shirt. Now, let me know how you think it feels.
Ooh, that's a nice
by
color.
touch alone.
That feels good.
Yeah. I think it will bring out the colors in your eyes. It's really soft.
That's
Soft
nice.
soft like my skin.
It's softer than your skin.
Oh, do you hear that, ladies and
True
gentlemen?
classic tees are softer than my skin, and I moisturize and exfoliate daily.
And it's really fucking soft.
It's really
It's like baby soft.
But even with as sweaty as he is, here we go. Ooh, look at that.
Damn, it fits like a glove,
That's wonderful.
but not too snug.
That's fantastic. Look at that. All right, so turn like this. Not too tight in the waist. I like that. Leaves you a little bit room so it's not like hugged in too much. And then take a seat.
Nice.
Ooh, that fits your shoulders really well.
How does it
considering
feel?
how big
I love
they
it.
are.
That's a nice color too.
You're gonna keep it on? Makes your eyes
It's a
pop.
nice color.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So if you guys want to not only feel good, but look good, well, half the battle of feeling good is looking good. So if you also want to look good, go to trueclassictees.com and use code TWND. You get 25% off and free shipping on orders over $100.
That's a no-brainer.
So build yourself a pack, an entirely new wardrobe, and help support the podcast that you guys love so much. And thank you to this model for being here
This
today.
hunk.
This is how we get more female viewers. Jordan Perry told us so.
Yes.
All right, now get out of here.
Thank you.
And thank you, True Classic, for sponsoring this podcast.
Thank you, True Classic.
Mwah.
Even in the gym, when I used to train like in a gym, but now I'm training kind of alone. I used to get like a lot of like smaller dudes looking at me or even coming up to me and complimenting on my physique. You know, one time I took my jumper off and this guy was like, he just came up to me and was like, I'm like, I'm sorry to disturb you, but like you took your jumper off and then just, your muscles just popped. And I'm like, stop it.
Stop, but keep going, please.
Yeah. And then, you know, like just lifting heavier weights than them, it's such a powerful feeling.
It is,
It
yeah.
really is.
And like something that's cool too, like, cause you mentioned this like guy coming up to you, right? And actually paying you a compliment to all of the hard work that you've done.
Yeah.
And while you can see that in yourself, it's cool to hear that from
Yeah.
someone else, especially like someone that mentally you're kind of like competing against because it's a guy, you know? And that's not like, oh, you know, fuck all men, but it is definitely one of those things. And especially like when I feel like you do get to a certain level of, I guess, I don't know if muscularity is a word, but you know, like any sort of built woman that I have ever seen on social media gets shit from some guy who looks like his ass has become his chin. And it's like, you know what, like, you know, and it's one of those things too that it's easier to focus on the negative comments because you can get like 50 positive comments. That one that's negative, that one that kind of probes at any minute amount of insecurity that you might have inside of you, that's what our brain latches onto.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool thing to kind of be able to just say, fuck that. And even if it kind of bothers you, you push past it and you can use that as a motivator to just keep doing what you're doing and push yourself even further to be like an extra fuck you to anyone that says differently. Because it's like, you don't know the amount of time, effort, work, the things that have been sacrificed to get to this level that we are, because you're not out there doing it, and you're typically just sitting there behind your phone trolling somebody who worked hard and for whatever reason that they may have, whether it's their own insecurities or you know they're lonely and sad and alone because they're lonely because they're trolls. So don't freaking do that because it's very rude and it just makes you look even more sad and pathetic than you are. So
I find it funny. Like, I just look at it, and sometimes I'm like to my partner,
like, look,
just
I do
look.
that all the time. Like, I'm like, look what this guy said. I want
Yeah.
to make a reply video. I'm going to troll him even harder.
Literally. It's actually motivating to me. Like, I
is.
just don't care.
Yeah.
I get people thinking that I'm trans, and it's like,
Oh my God.
good for you.
Let's talk about this. Oh my God. Like, one of the first times that I was ever like, I've not been drinking all the time. I've been really consistent with my workouts, and I want to post a flexing video.
Yeah.
And then you get, like, well, how big's your dick? It's like, I don't know. My mental dick's clearly bigger than yours, you sad fuck. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't. It almost used to bother me at first, but I've always kind of. I've gotten those comments even before I started doing fitness stuff because I'm taller, and even though I wasn't like as into fitness as I am now, I've always been a little just broad, muscular.
Yeah.
I just kind of, I think I'm kind of lucky in that way. Like, even my mom, I remember when I was young, she was much more overweight than she is now. Like, she's lost a lot of weight, but she would flex, and she did not work out, and she would have softballs, like hard
Nice.
arms. And it's
Nice.
like so maybe it is a little bit easier for me to build muscle and to, if I'm good to myself, to keep a better physique.
You've got a very, like, lean physique.
Thank you.
Like, just doing the photo shoot together, like, her bicep veins are like, woof,
Well,
they're
it's
just
partially,
popping.
as I mentioned during the photo shoot, because I was so afraid of Bali belly in Bali that I barely ate enough to keep the lights on. So I was so afraid of shitting my pants.
You are fine. Honestly, you're fine.
But it was great because I lost like 15 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilograms. Sorry.
I don't even know.
But now I could eat a shitload of bread, and I'm super stoked about it because
She's obsessed with Baker's Delight.
I've talked about it so much. When I came back from Australia last time, like one of the first things I said on the podcast, guys, the bread, it's so fucking good. But as far as the photo shoot that we just did, definitely a little more different than the vibes that you're typically working with. So you want to talk about that a little bit? How did you feel doing the shoot that we just did?
I'm not used
I showed
to
her
doing.
my butthole. I'm just kidding. I didn't.
I'm not really used to doing like lingerie shoots or anything like that. So I guess it was very different for me. And I normally don't do shoots in general. So that's what I really want to try and push for. So this year's kind of been like a really big change of just, building up more content. So, getting into photo shoots, I really would love to showcase a little bit more of that and just to showcase, as I always say, my thickness. I'm just trying to embrace my muscle building phase. Like, I just don't care. And, just kind of being in that moment. So definitely doing like a lingerie shoot with you has been so much fun.
It was so fun.
It was. And
You guys are going to love the photos. Like, I cannot wait to share them. We had so much fun. We got so much BTS. I'm a gremlin, like always, and she's a beautiful goddess. And it was really fun. But I think that's one of the cool things about photo shoots, too, because I've always, ever since I started doing photo shoots, I think, like, the first photo
when did you start?
Well, so starting with webcamming is where I started, and that's obviously not photo shoots. That's you like sitting in your bedroom in front of a camera for hours and hours and hours and hours entertaining men online. Some women, but mostly men, let's be honest. So it was kind of like I didn't really get into shooting photos that I wasn't shooting myself until I shot, I'm trying to think, which came first, chicken or the egg? I think I shot for Playboy first, like Playboy Plus, not the magazine. I've never been pretty enough to get into Playboy. So, but then Penthouse was shortly after that.
What's Penthouse?
I'm sorry?
Like, is that like a company or is that?
I forget. Let's try that. So Penthouse is basically kind of like a little raunchier version of Playboy.
Okay.
So nude, like beautiful sets and stuff like that. I ended up getting the Penthouse Pet of the Month in September of 2017, I want to say. So that was really fun, but it was kind of, those two were very close together when I shot. And it ended up being so fun, like just the whole experience of set. And I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know my angles, like so many photos. I had so much fun, but I look back on some of those photos now and I look like like scared. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. Like my face stays the same throughout almost everything. I didn't really know what to do with posing. And then after that, like just wanting to get more and more into doing photo shoots and kind of just like allowing myself to kind of relax and being around people who made that a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because when you don't know what you're doing, it was like, so I did a coffee class today with my man. I was telling her when, thanks mom, when I'm not good at something right away, I get stressed. Like I just flip out. I get like all in my own head and I'm thinking like, I'm wasting everybody's time. This is awful. I'll never be good at this. But then I'm kind of my own worst critic. So I also kind of use that as motivation to try to keep doing better, which I guess ended up being a good thing with photo shoots. But it's kind of like, it also, I feel like has made me learn my body a lot more, like not even just as far as posing, but sometimes like if I'm having a really shitty, you know, internalizing self-loathing day and I do a photo shoot, I get some of those photos back, or I just see the photos on the camera, I'm like, oh my god, that's me, that's not me, you know. And it's like a confidence boost.
Even just being behind the camera and watching you, you know, pose and do those kinds of things, like because I don't do photo shoots, so just seeing you do, you know, what you do, it motivated me to try new things, because like me being me, I'm just like stiff. I don't know my angles when it comes to photo shoots. Like I only know angles when it comes to posing for a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's like very like specific, because there's certain things that they're looking for when they're judging. So there's certain angles that you really have to hit and all that. Yeah. But when it's like your photo shoot, it's like you can do anything. You can make your body do whatever you want.
And I'm not used to that.
It's what I think is so cool about photo shoots, and especially like finding good photographers to work with.
Yeah.
Hey Jamie. Because if you can, it's like you're creating art in whatever form that is. So as models, we bring our body as the art. So it's up to us to kind of be like, how do we feel the most confident?
Yep.
How do we feel that we look the best? And also having input from somebody else who sees you in a different way can also show you a side of yourself that maybe you didn't even see before. And essentially what we're all doing, whether you're the photographer, the makeup artist, whether you're someone who's designing the set, you're all bringing different pieces of art together to make one final masterpiece. And so that should be as fun as humanly possible, because art is fun and art is like energy. And if you're bringing a good and positive energy, you're going to get something good out of it regardless. It's just kind of like surrounding yourself with the right people to make sure that your energy is all kind of
exactly. There is like so much that goes into it, which I never knew myself. Like even just looking at maybe even Instagram models or just content creators in general, there is so much that goes on around, like you mentioned, and even just the money aspect. Like it's worth it for that art and what you're bringing to the table. So
yeah, and it's one of those things too that I look at, and I know that there are some content creators who are very much like, well, I can just shoot it all myself. And that's fantastic. And that's what I did for so many years. But it's also reaches a point where when you don't have other eyes looking at the same thing, it can become stagnant because there's not change.
Yeah.
And that which does not change or grow stagnates and dies. So it's kind of one of those things where it can even be like, yes, you can keep taking like the same photos in front of your iPhone on a stand forever, and that's totally cool.
There was more people into you.
And when you're kind of like feeling your energy and, you know, kind of feeding off of the vibes of everybody's energy who's around you, even if you're just doing like a solo shoot, it's just like you and the photographer, you and the makeup artist, or like me and Laura, who's not here. I miss you, Laura. I miss you so much. But it's one of those things that it's kind of just like, as long as you can have fun, you're going to get something good out of it. And also, it's one of those things that like this whole thing, whatever we're creating with our bodies, you know, it is temporary. Eventually, we won't look like this, whether it's because we decided to like change our fitness regime, whether I decide that I'm just going to live at Baker's Delight and eat all of their bread for the rest of my life and get morbidly obese. Things change, you know, so you're not going to look this way forever. And it's been even cool for me to look back at photos that I used to just shoot of myself versus like this evolution of how my shooting style has changed, whether it's even me shooting my own photos, that has even changed. Just being around different people and seeing other people's eye and getting different ideas from other
And then
creators.
also learning your camera angles and kind of like, even just you doing like your own makeup as well, like trying.
Yeah. Girl, I try.
Yeah.
But Laura does it best. So,
Yeah.
But your
And
makeup
outfits.
artist was great today too.
Yeah.
So I was really happy to get a chance
Yeah,
to work
Jess
with her.
does an amazing job.
She was fantastic. And she was so sweet too. I really liked it. But it's all that kind of thing because you're meeting new people. And it's something too that I've realized more and more, like not even just with photo shoots, but just like getting out of your comfort zone and getting out of your bubble. The more and more people you meet,
Yeah.
the more and more things you discover about the world,
And
about
especially
yourself.
with
And-
traveling and just connections
Yeah.
through social media can lure
Very
you
much
into like
so.
different parts of, you know, your journey. in a
Yeah,
sense.
and that's all what life is, you know. And you know, it's one of those things too where it's like, you know, we can be riding off the high of a photo shoot, but tomorrow we might, you know, not be having the best day.
Yeah.
But you can look at today and be like, well, that was a great day. And maybe something will change and this will be a good day. Or maybe it'll be better tomorrow. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be 3 days from now. But that's like all life is like, it's not just like, oh, you make yourself happy and you just reach a point where you're happy forever. It's the constant pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Because we're not meant to just be in this like utopic state of happiness forever. It's all about
Little
like
bubble.
adversity, whether it's like addressing a troll online or whether, you know, it's
Just the little things.
changing your body, whether it's like, oh, I decide that I'm not going to drink alcohol, or maybe you're going to quit smoking, or whatever small changes that you make, or you're going to go out and meet somebody new and talk to a fucking stranger today. It's all those little things. And it's like life is a whole culmination of experiences. And if you don't allow yourself the opportunity to like go have those experiences, you're just going to sit there in your own stagnated misery and hate
that's-
yourself. And I know, because I've done that. So don't do that. It's not worth it.
And that's why I even just took this leap when Sean Nelson reached out, and I was like, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna do it. Like, I've never traveled on my own. I've never been like overseas to the point where it's like I'm solely on my own and there's just no one really around me. It's like it's just for me. And so just taking that leap and just having fun with it. Like, you never know the outcome. Like, it could be shit or it could be amazing.
Yeah. But
So-
even the shitty experiences, it's
Yeah.
like,
You-
oh, well, I
you learn
learned
from
from
it.
this shitty
Yeah.
experience.
And
And,
then you learn
you
not to
don't
do it
have to
again.
like dwell on it and be like, this was the most horrible thing.
Yeah.
I'll never do it again. Because if you do that, then you're just closing yourself off from the multitude of other opportunities that
Yeah.
are out there.
Exactly.
You know, and it's easy to kind of like fall into those points of like, whether it's depression or, you know, if you get sick, like imagine if you had gotten sick, right, like you did, but then you just fell off of everything. You're just like, well, I just feel shitty, so I'm not going to try to push myself. And yeah, you probably would have gotten better, but you went into it with this thing of, I'm going to get better than I was before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was literally the mentality. And I knew it was only temporary, just like with anything, it's temporary.
Yeah, everything is temporary. Like, this podcast is temporary. Eventually, we have to go home. It's very late at night right now. I did not even realize that. I totally messed up today.
Your
it's so
coffee
late.
was more important.
The coffee making that I like mentally berated myself for way
the
too long.
photo you sent me was just impeccable.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I got there in the end, but it's all the thing. And then I look at that, you know, instance too. And even while I'm sitting there, like pouring milk all over the table everywhere but the cup, like, how am I even doing this wrong? It's literally pouring milk into a cup with coffee. How am I fucking this up? And I got so in my head about it. And then, you know, my man sees that I'm like struggle busing because it's like immediately my first go-to response is to just like shit dump all over myself and be like, you fucking suck.
At least you got the cleaning part right.
Yeah, right. I know how to clean. I'm super good at that. I'm a woman. I'm just kidding. Men know how to clean too. But it's one of those things where it's definitely easy to get down on yourself, but it's also kind of like definitely finding those people who can also kind of sense that and kind of help pull you out of it, because you don't have to do everything yourself. And that's something that I'm realizing more and more, because I'm very much one of those people that's like, I can do it. I can do it on my own.
Yeah.
I don't need any help.
Even if
but
it's
help
just
is
like-
good.
Even if it's just like just having that small circle, or you know, if you're trying to run a business, just having someone behind you to just look out for you, and just, you know, just that small circle makes such a difference. You could have even just one person, can make all the difference.
It really can. And it's like, it's all that other thing too, where as far as like whether you're just shooting photos on your own or you decide to branch out and shoot with other people, it's somebody else's perspective. And sometimes it's a perspective that you can't reach on your own. You need to kind of see that example from other people, or you need to hear that other input, even if it's hard to hear at first. You know, it's kind of like, well, you can't, it's one of those things like, you know, everybody has an opinion about your life. You don't have to take every opinion to heart, but there are certain things that people can say, even if at first it kind of seems mean or hurtful or whatever. But I think that in general, it's still good to kind of assess all that and be able to look at yourself and see where you have room to improve, because we should always be trying to improve upon ourselves and be the best version of ourselves that we can be. Otherwise, why are we fucking here? You know what I mean?
Exactly right. Yeah.
It's very exciting. So as far as the lingerie shoots, do you think that you'll be wanting to do more of that kind of stuff? Like how did you feel about like the shoot today?
So the shoot was very different, and it was something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, but I mean, I never really put myself out there kind of thing. I was always quite enclosed with myself. Even just on social media, I'm quite enclosed. But, you know, even just like looking through social media and seeing girls doing lingerie shoots, like I find it super sexy, super beautiful, even if they're just beautiful and thick and, you know, they're in the fitness industry, or even if they're not. It was like when I came across you on the feed of like Instagram, I just randomly saw your photo. I'm like, she's beautiful. Like that shot was amazing. So it was like, I kind of wanted to do my own research into finding out how these girls kind of work their body image when they shoot. I'm very stiff, so like I don't know how to work my angles only through bodybuilding poses. So like we get mandatory poses. And it's like with photo shoots, you're so free, and I'm just not used to that. So doing the photo shoot with you today, it's like I kind of needed your guidance a little bit to learn how to shoot properly, or even just work my angles, because I'm not free like that. And I'm trying to really embrace feeling more free lately. So I think it was really fun, and I would definitely love to do it more, even just like in different lingerie colors, you know, different mix and match kind of stuff. I'm very much more of like the dominatrix style of shoot. So there's like a little section and it says worship me, and I'm like, I'm all for it.
That one was really fun. She put her fingers in my mouth.
So that was really, really different. And even just like the worship in general, I'm very much about that. So even like with muscle worship, stuff like that. So I absolutely love that, and I would definitely love to get more into it.
So her biceps is kind of what put you on to like the muscle worship aspect before, right? Because were you doing that before her biceps?
No. So
like that fetish type. And I say fetish like very loosely. It's not like it's not like what I do.
It's even just like in general, I always get people kind of reaching out, you know, saying, oh my God, like I love your muscles. Like I would love to worship you. And it's kind of like, I would think in my head, like, what is this? Like, I had no idea, like, a year and a half ago what muscle worship was. And so I did a little bit of my research, you know, looked a bit of, like, just worshiping in general. And then I came across Brandy May. And I'm like, this girl is literally my vibe.
Yeah.
So she does, like, a lot of wrestling stuff as well.
I did an oil up wrestling video with her.
And you
fun.
did?
Yes.
Ooh, fun.
It was very fun.
I'd love to wrestle her.
Yeah, you should. You can come to Vegas sometime. I have this big kind of like inflatable wrestling ring.
Fun.
Just pour the oil in there, pour it on each other, and just go for it. It was so fun.
Yeah.
So that's cool about like the worship aspect, and I don't know if this is with any accuracy, but I kind of think about like the whole muscle worship thing, and think about how like gods were like portrayed, like the Greek gods. It's all very like, not all, obviously, I don't even know all the mythology and shit like that, like don't come for me, but there's a lot of like that chiseled type aspect of like power. So it kind of comes from that, almost like, well, that was what was worshipped. So anybody who kind of has anything to say about like anyone, especially women who are very muscular fit, is kind of like, it's like you were saying that you would see women on social media, whether they're very thick or whether they're very slender or whether they're like muscular like you or like maybe more toned like me or like whatever. There's so many different variants to beauty, and beauty standards change. They come,
always,
they go, and for every single person out there, no matter what you look like, there's somebody who thinks you're hot as shit.
And that's why I think even just with the OF OnlyFans aspect of things, I think it's really cool that women get to embrace their physiques no matter how they look. So even like with you, like you show different, styles of who you are, as well as
so many personalities going around in here,
as well as just girls in general. They can showcase who they are, their body types, because there will be someone that wants to, reach out and wants to see more. So
and there are some women who, perform on OnlyFans and even men too, who like, they don't show their faces. It's just about like whatever type of content is that they're offering there. And there's it's funny, like the stigma. Sorry, I'm gonna scooch this back. There's a funny stigma about OnlyFans, which is kind of funny to me, because yes, I mean, predominantly, I guess the top earners of OnlyFans would definitely be like people who do create pornography. But I mean, let's be honest, porn drives the internet, you know what I mean?
But it's not only that, like,
but there's so many creators on OnlyFans who don't do pornography, who don't even do nudity. Some people, if anything, maybe they do implied nudity, and it's all like covered and artistic. There are people on OnlyFans who simply create drawings or paintings, and they'll do stuff like that. Like Laura has a Wholesome fans. It's just her posting her day-to-day stuff, or like BTS from set. She doesn't freaking get naked.
I've noticed like a lot of girls are definitely doing more of the behind the scenes kind of stuff, or more lingerie, or something a little bit more revealing. Doesn't necessarily have to be nude, but posting that because they feel more comfortable having that on OF rather than being on other platforms, because they do want to make an income, they do want to be their own creator, and I think it's quite valuable at the same time, just for themselves getting appreciated in that way.
And honestly, you can go back to the whole, like, my body, my choice. It's kind of like, who is anyone to say how somebody else portrays themselves? Because, like, inherently, nothing that anyone does on OnlyFans, or whether they shoot mainstream porn, or whether they're just an Instagram model or an influencer, none of that affects other people. What affects people is how they choose to react to things, for instance. So it's like, if you don't like to see content someone is putting out, block them. Or, I don't know, get off the internet and grow a fucking backbone and learn to stop being so fucking sensitive. Because not everything that everybody does is a personal attack on you and whatever it is that you fucking believe about the world. Because, it's like with, religion. Religion isn't fucking for everyone. But under the umbrella of religion, there are so many different kinds of fucking religion that people can cherry pick and, believe whatever they want to believe. And that's totally cool.
Like, I used to hide my religion because I used to get bullied for being Jewish, and I fucking hated it. So it got to the point where I was like, I'm just not even going to say anything, like...
Because it's nobody's fucking business either. Because it's like, anything that... people are just cunts. Sorry, but not sorry. It's one of those things where it's like, if people find something that they can weaponize and they're miserable people already, they're going to try to use it in a way that's hurtful. And it's like, but also at the end of the day, it's kind of, I think that's the first time I've said that in this show, and I say that so many times. At the end of the day, I'm going to make a t-shirt. It's kind of like, it's how people choose to react to whatever type of content you put out. It's also on you to choose how you react to those people. So it's kind of like, if you're comfortable with yourself and what it is that you're putting out and how you're representing yourself in the world, then fucking everybody else. Because life is long. People always say that life is short, but for the most part and for a majority of people, it's a lot longer than you think. Because I look back at even periods of my life that, I felt very miserable, that I felt very depressed. When I look back at that, it felt so long when I was in it. And I'm like, this is going to be all it is forever.
Did
And
it feel
not.
did it feel draining, like from a day-to-day basis?
God, yes. I wanted to die every single day. And I thought it was one of those things that I was just going to be in forever.
Yeah.
But when I look back at it now, it feels like, part 1 maybe of my life, or actually part 2, because there was still this whole fucking childhood and adolescence, and then this big fucking shitstorm, and bad shit that happened when I was a kid, bad shit that happened in my 20s. It's all temporary. And it's like everything is temporary. So it's such a long period of time, and something that feels horrible or shitty today might not even feel that way tomorrow. It might take 5 years to not feel that shitty. It might take 10.
And how did you feel like, when you're going through this tough time in your life, how did you feel like what was the stepping stone that came to mind and you just instantly was just like, I've had enough, like I need to change? How did it?
I feel like I had a lot of series of rapid changes, and of course, obviously my situation is not going to be like everybody's situation, but I was in a very abusive relationship for basically from the age of just turned 19 up until the end of 2019. So it was a very, very long period of time. And kind of the change that happened for me, I think my situation started much differently. So I'm not sure if you've heard of the whole thing. I didn't discover this until later, but your brain doesn't even fully develop until you're probably about in your mid-20s, 25 to 28.
Yeah.
And I started to, I had someone whispering in my ear all the time about, what a horrible person I was, calling me a whore for a job or situations that this person put me into, making me internalize all of this misplaced guilt and self-loathing and making me feel like I was absolutely worthless. And I couldn't remember a time that I didn't feel like that until...
I think a lot of women, even me, go through that.
Yeah.
And it
No,
it
the more
teaches you
women I
such a
talk
life
to, the more
lesson.
women I talk to, the more I realize that a lot of women have something very, very similar in common.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure that there are men too, but obviously I've mostly talked about these things with women, both on and off the podcast, and predominantly a lot of them off the podcast, because a lot of people aren't, able at this moment in time to be as open as I feel like I want to be now. And one of the reasons also that I started to be more open about things, and of course, not all details are privy to the public, not everybody needs to know every bit of that, but when I did, finally get into therapy, it was, I had, left my spouse, the divorce was finalized, all that stuff, was still paying alimony, all this fun stuff. And I had quit drinking for a while, and I decided to start therapy. And I got to this point where I kind of started therapy as a joke, because I didn't really think that there was any point to therapy. Therapy is just for crazy people. And I'd had bad experiences with therapists in the past who didn't really want to find, I guess, the root cause of why I was feeling a certain way. It was like, here's a medication that you can take. And I was like, I don't want medication. I've always been one of those people that, like, I want to know why this is the way that it is. I want to know how this works. I want to, have a fuller understanding of these things. And when I finally did get into therapy and started taking it seriously, I realized, there's a lot to unpack here that I didn't realize. And the hardest thing was actually talking about those things. Communication was not a thing in my relationship. If I were to, make how I was feeling known, it would be like, well, you shouldn't feel that way, and this is why you shouldn't feel that way, and just completely invalidating everything. So I got to the point where I wouldn't really talk, and I would just listen. I spent a lot of time just listening and observing, and talking about how I felt about things, or just anything like that was so incredibly impossible for me.
So
that
just
going
talking
through therapy.
was it talking in general to other people as well?
Yes.
not just in therapy.
Yes, if there was not a webcam in front of my face, I didn't know how to fucking do it. Or a cup of alcohol in my hand.
Did you feel like also when you were cam modeling and talking to people, it was hard for you as well? Or it just completely went out the window?
Completely went out the window because camming for me was very much performance art, if you will, because it was like I'm logging online to do a show and I'm here to entertain the people. So for me, and with webcamming as well, it's not like you see the other people, you're not face to face with people, and in a way it kind of feels anonymous, even though it's obviously not, it's all over the internet. But I would have 3,000 people in my room and it would be like nothing because it's like you don't see them and it's just text on a screen. So even if someone was a dick, it's easy to just be like, just make something funny. I would like to fight them. I would just make that my little repertoire back and forth. People used to come to my camera room just to watch that. So, but actually,
that would have been so entertaining. I don't know why, but that would have been so entertaining.
It was, but it was also, once I got around actual people, and I feel like I interacted with a lot of very fake people, and when I was around people, it's like I was very, very isolated for the most part, so I would kind of overshare and then end up having that used against me in some way. So that made me even more not,
wanting to express yourself.
To express and to share and all that kind of stuff. So with therapy, when I was forced, because that's what you have to do is talk. You have to talk about all the shit you don't want to talk about, and the more you talk, the more you unlock things that your brain has just decided out. Well, your brain, especially when you go through very traumatic things, it blocks it. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was a thing. So going through therapy was like unlocking and re-experiencing and reliving all this trauma that my brain just stopped me from dealing with until the talking happened. But while that was very hard, the more and more that I forced myself to do it, and I never missed a meeting, it was on that schedule, and I was like, I'm fucking paying for this. Show up. And it was just like talk therapy. It was online, like the BetterHelp thing. So the more and more I did that, the more and more I realized and I've made this correlation before, so I'm sorry, but she's might not have heard it. So it's like the Harry Potter thing, it sounds stupid to say, but fear of the name increases fear of the thing itself. Like if you are too afraid to talk about it, you're never going to get past it. And I think that, if more and more people were able to talk to other people openly about shared experiences or even similar experiences, even if they're not quite the same, you don't feel as alone. And I think if I had had a situation or someone to talk to in a way that I felt that I could actually be fully open with them and not have it used against me in a way, or to say, fuck you if you do use it against me. Well, you're a shitty person for doing that. And just being able to be open and fully own myself and how I was feeling and the things that I thought and believed, that I would have been in a better position a long time ago. So that's why, especially having a podcast like this where I do talk so openly about mental health and about abuse and trauma and all that kind of stuff and different things, inside and outside of the industry that I'm in, then maybe if more people can listen to it, then they'll feel more comfortable either seeking help from a professional or being more open with the people close to them and seeing who really actually cares and values them.
And do you feel like, opening up whilst being in therapy has also built up a really good relationship with your partner, being able to express exactly how you feel? You don't feel like you need to hide things, because I feel like within myself, I'm a very enclosed person. So even just doing Q&As on social media, it's like it bottles up, but it's like sometimes you just need to take a breath and you're like, I'm just going to be honest. Sometimes the honesty is just the best content you can create. Yes. It's like with people talking about steroids. It's like I can openly say I'm fine with taking steroids. I take steroids within this sport.
A lot of people do and aren't honest about it, which I think is even more damaging, because if you look at someone, for instance, say that even, let's go the route of men, because mostly men listen to this podcast, let's be honest. I wish more women would, but it's mostly men. So say that you have a young man, right? Maybe a teenager or something, who then goes and looks at these men online who are fitness models or bodybuilders and any of that kind of stuff, and fuck, I aspire to be like that, and no matter how much they work, they can't achieve that. be honest. Like you could potentially be damaging a young mind, or even not a young mind, someone who's just wanting to attain that kind of aesthetic or something. And it's like, if you're going to do it, be honest about it. Otherwise, like why keep living the lie? It's like when you asked one of the things of like what finally kind of changed my course of action, that's like the reason that I ended up like finally leaving my ex. It was like a point where I ignored so many things because I thought everything was my fault. And I finally reached this point where it was just like the biggest final lie just caught outright. And like, I swear to God, it was like that brain thing, like hiding things from you. It's like the floodgates opened, and every lie that I knew that had ever been and I had ignored, I was like, it's done.
It's just a build up.
I'm done doing it, because
it's a build up of like, it becomes a joke. Like, it actually becomes a joke.
Yeah.
And I've been through the same thing where it just becomes a build up of a joke. And it gets to the point where like, I'm done. Like, goodbye. Like,
like, this isn't funny.
Yeah, it's not funny. And it gets
the
easier.
worst
It
joke.
gets easier and easier the more they lie, the more they try to, you know, blame you for things. It becomes so much easier to the point where like, go away. Like,
and it's not just
I've had
with
enough.
like a romantic partner either.
No.
I've had that with, you know, friends. And it's like, and the more and more that I, especially going through therapy and talking about things that were bothering me, it's like the more and more I realized all these people in my life who were lying to me in one way or another, whether it was withholding things, whether it was, you know, lying directly to my face, whether it was, you know, lying behind my back and having to hear about it from other people, and doing all this stuff back and forth. I was just like, I'm too old, and I know I'm not old, but I'm too, I guess, mature enough to be at this point and to keep letting the same fucking shit happen. It's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results, like thinking, this will be the time that they don't fucking lie to me, this will be the time that they don't let me down.
do you ever feel like, you know, having the mentality of trust and people completely doing the opposite, it's kind of put you back from socializing with people, or even just becoming friends with someone, or even just doing content creation with someone? Do you feel like
I think
it's restricted you?
I don't think that it's restricted me. In fact, I think it's helped me to create better content and better connections with people, because now I'm at a point where I'm open and honest publicly on a platform like this as much as I feel comfortable being. And I feel like I've also been through enough experiences with people to kind of be able to recognize certain patterns and behaviors in people and keep those people at a distance. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I fucking hate you, I'll never fucking speak to you. But there has to be distance, and there has to be separation from that, because I don't have the time to take on all of your bullshit, because I'm still working through my own bullshit. You know what I mean? And for me now, I think I've also reached a point where I do very much trust the people that are close to me, but I've also now realized that trust is not just a thing that is given. It's because you always get the people, well, why don't you trust me? It's like, because trust is earned. And if you do not earn that trust, it's like you have to keep proving, and I have to prove to people that I am a trustworthy person. And when you prove that you are trustworthy, and you see other people prove to you that you can trust them, it's not just like, oh, I met this person and now I trust them. That's ridiculous. And I used to do that all the time, and it burned me more times than I can, because I just wanted that connection. I wanted to have that level of trust with someone. But when you're so out there and willing to just give someone your everything when they're only giving you this much, and they don't let you see anything that's behind that, then it starts to seep out, and it starts to affect you, because you thought, well, I gave you all of my trust, I gave you all of my energy, I gave you every piece of me that I could, because I wanted you to be someone that I cared about and that I could count on and that I could come to in times of need. And you have proven time and time again that you are not that person. So now I kind of more look at things as, I'll try, but if you do not prove to me that I can trust you, then I will no longer kind of waste my time in the situation. So a little bit different, I guess.
That's good. That's good. I'm pretty much have the same mentality. Like, when you give someone your all and then they just completely fuck you over, it's just,
It's devastating.
yeah.
It's
I'm not one
absolutely
to
devastating.
continue my time.
I had someone ask me this on a podcast. I believe it was Lisa when she was on. So she kind of asked, you know, we had a similar conversation about trust and all that. And how do you feel if someone who has broken your trust or someone that you have kind of parted ways with were to come back and apologize and try to rekindle a friendship or a partnership, not like romantic necessarily, but even just like in business or whatever? How do you think that you would deal with that? Would you be someone who would kind of, well, I guess I'll just let you, how would you kind of see that and handle that?
I guess that's a very tough question. I've had so many people in my life completely turn me over to the point where I don't know who to trust. And I'm a big believer in energy. So if I sense someone that has really negative energy around me, I cannot be in that space with that person. And if someone does, you know, I guess, do things that are completely against our friendship, I would forgive them, but I would move on. I don't see myself moving on with that person to the point where I would connect on the level that we did. I'm the kind of
I
person
agree.
that would part ways on a good note where it's just mutual, but I'm one to just part ways.
I agree.
I can't reconnect with that person that I trusted and gave my all to then them completely turning over what we have or had.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just,
No,
I would much-
completely agree.
yeah.
'Cause it's one of those things where you've already given them your everything.
it's
and
like
they
there's
took
not
it and
much
they
else I
shit
can
on it,
do.
so there's nothing left.
And it just comes to
I
a point
agree.
where it's like, my time is so precious. I'm not going to waste my time trying to rebuild what is lost a long time ago.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So on that note, we have been going for an hour, but this whole conversation has made me very thirsty. And I brought something from the States for you to try. Did you know that 1 stick of liquid IV dissolved in 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more effectively than water alone?
I didn't know.
I've said this so many freaking times.
I did
It
not know.
tastes good. It has a lot of B vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C, which is good and helps prevent against, you know, getting sick and stuff. Would you like to try one? We have guava or acai berry.
Guava sounds nice.
It is. It's one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. Get out of here, acai. It's still good. You guys should try it. So you guys can go to liquidiv.com and use code TWND to save 15% and get free shipping on anything that you purchase. And you can experience better hydration today. So I like to pour them in my tumbler because, like, what glasses hold 16 ounces of water? And I always have a tumbler because I'm always training. So just shake it up.
Nice and frothy.
Very frothy. Give it a try.
This is actually really good.
Yeah, I like guava. Keeping it. You can.
That's
You
mine.
can totally keep it. And you can keep it too. So go to liquidiv.com, use code TWND, 15% off, free shipping. And I want you guys to give Ariel a follow because she is absolutely amazing and she has so much fun content. You guys can see her on her biceps and everywhere else. So give them your social media.
So my Instagram is Ariel__IFBB.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Or you can just search Ariel Rose. It should come up.
All right, so follow Ariel and you will enjoy everything about her because I really have. So thank you for coming on. This
Thank
has
you
been
so much for having
absolutely
me.
fantastic.
It's been
And
awesome.
I can't wait to shoot with her again. Thank you guys for listening once again. Leave your comments on YouTube to help the algorithm. Share with a friend because word of
Word of
mouth. Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth is what helps this podcast grow. So support the podcast and go support Ariel because she's absolutely fantastic.